In the middle of high-rising Gotham City, chaos unfolds at S.T.A.R Labs, where Poison Ivy and Floronic Man have teamed up against the local security officers. Floronic Man takes down the guards while Poison Ivy surge through the systems looking for some classified files, and bingo! She's got it! In the immediate aftermath of the attack, Batman and Nightwing are investigating the crime scene with the scientists. Nightwing traces the document, and Batman goes deep into the search through the archives and discovers the origin of the Swamp Thing. He explains the difference between the Swamp Thing and the Floronic Man. They head out to hunt down Poison Ivy and the Floronic Man, and decides to get Harley Quinn's help as well. Weird, right? Meanwhile, Batman goes to Argus Center in search for details about another missing scientist. And believe it or not, the Dark Knight actually blackmails the officer in charge.
A fringe hacker group recently accessed information about key Argus employees.
Are you blackmailing me?
Sarge Steele to get the details he wants. Typical Batman. Nightwing goes around the town showing a picture of Harley Quinn and asking her whereabouts, but he gets nothing, absolutely nothing. But then he comes across something quite remarkable, a restaurant served by super babes. All the supergirls and the bad ones are there, and the men just gauge at them like hawks. Must be the exceptional service, right? He then notices a familiar face. It's Harley Quinn, the original one who actually breaks the arm of a man who wants to feel her juicy bum, and boy, did he pay for that. Later in the night, Harley takes off after her shift, and Nightwing is tracking her in the shadows. Harley is doing a crossword puzzle while walking the Gotham streets. She comes to a bad part of town, and just when she is about to step into her apartment, she calls out Nightwing, and he jumps down for a friendly chat. Nightwing explains, asks her to join with them to search for Poison Ivy, but she turns him down quite nastily. They get into a small cat fight at first, which then turns into a rather deadly one. Nightwing thinks he is getting the upper hand, but this is Harley Quinn we are talking about. She tricks him, and suddenly, Nightwing bursts out laughing. Harley has injected him with a laugh gas injection. Nighty-night, Nightwing. Meanwhile, Batman and Sarge Steele investigate the ransacked apartment of the missing scientist. The Dark Knight comes across a fallen leaf from Floronic Man, and he tries to contact Nightwing, but no reply. Batman heads out to go deep into the matter. Things are not looking up for Nightwing as he is being tied up in all four on Harley's bed while she is thinking out loud. Harley starts to undress and gets ready for a shower when she gets an idea. Well, since the past few months have been lonely, Harley wants some action with Nightwing. Well, isn't he the lucky guy? Poison Ivy is sharing a kiss with the missing scientist, Harold Goldblum, and keeps him under her magic spell to work out the chemistry for their plan. Soon, Ivy and Floronic Man are having a heated debate over the harmful acts of humankind and the need to get rid of them. Batman goes looking for the Nightwing using his tracker in his suit. Batman enters the rundown apartment, and he is just about to enter Harley's room when he hears their playful noises. Soon, he is in for the surprise of a lifetime as the new couple has done some adventurous things, and Nightwing is visibly blushing underneath the mask. They gather back at the Batmobile, and Harley tries to cut a deal with Batman but fails to do so. Nevertheless, she agrees to help them track Ivy for the sake of the world. While driving back to the Batcave, Harley shouts to stop the car and jumps off chasing some random guy on the street. Looking at each other, Batman and Nightwing then take after her, jumping from building to building. Harley is quite persistent with her chase and tracks the guy through alleyways and rooftops. Finally, Batman and Nightwing corners the man, and Harley gets on top of him and beats the guy to a paste for dumping on her prom night. Batman and Nightwing has to carry her back, and on the ride back, Batman warns her saying that this is the last time. Harley gives a tip to drive to Bloodhaven Club, and on the way there, they have to stop at a gas station since Harley has been ripping farts left and right. Just hilarious stuff. They enter the club and see a number of characters dancing and having a good time. Harley speaks to the manager, shrubs for a tip on Ivy, and first, it seems she has to do him a favor by singing an in-demand song for the crowd. Batman and Nightwing are just left dumbfounded, but later, even Nightwing is caught dancing to the beat. Harley does a tremendous performance with the song, and Shrubs hands her the information as promised. But the issue is, all the people who are in the club today has a bone to pick with Batman, and they mean business. The Dark Knight drinks the milk glass and starts his routine. The guy just takes on the entire clubhouse all by himself. After bludgeoning an entire clubhouse, Batman leaves with his two sidekicks in the Batmobile. He receives a call from Booster up in the Justice League watchtower, and Nightwing suggests Batman cut him off from joining them. Back at the secret laboratory, scientist Harold Goldblum has produced a successful experiment on a rat, and they are overjoyed. But soon, the creature explodes, and Harold explains the problem with the water source. They need to get down to Louisiana waters and get original Swamp Thing's water, and Floronic Man likes the idea as it's just beside the Atlantic Ocean. And, just then, shattering the glass windows, in comes the Dark Trio, Batman along with Nightwing and Harley Quinn. Ivy cannot believe Harley has joined the Dark Knight, but soon, a fight breaks between the two parties. Batman takes on the Floronic Man, while Nightwing tries to tackle the Poison Ivy. Although Batman gets away from Floronic Man and his wavered punches, Nightwing is struggling against Ivy, while Harley is just watching the fight. In the commotion, a fire breaks out, destroying the place, and Floronic Man is quick enough to save their experiments, and the duo leaves after killing Harold Goldblum. The building explodes and collapses. Batman gets up from the rubble and goes in search of Nightwing, who appears to be okay as well. They quickly discover Harley hunched over the dying scientist Harold Goldblum, comforting him. The scientist told them to go to Louisiana to catch Ivy and Floronic Man just before he passed away. At the border to Louisiana, the police is doing a thorough check for suspicious activity. Floronic Man and Ivy argue about leaving Harley in the fire, but soon they are met with problem of escaping. Floronic Man pulls out a magic yam from his bag which had belonged to the Swamp Thing earlier. He breaks it in half and tells Ivy to eat one half while he ate the other. Soon, the duo gets the energy of the forest and switches into a certain spiritual state. They are able to traverse into the plants, and they use it to escape unnoticed. Down at the laboratory, the burning building is attended by the fire brigade, and Harley is trying to patch things up with Nightwing. But soon, she is enraged to learn Batman is going to drop her from the mission, and then she begs and cries at his feet, trying to make him take her back on the mission. Even Nightwing thinks it's a good contingency plan. Batman, Nightwing, and Harley arrive at the Louisiana swamp along with armed National Guard and search through the swamp for Ivy and Floronic Man. Harley is mad at Batman for not bringing down bug spray, and Batman offers her vitamin B. Geez. Suddenly, one of the soldiers on the search is dragged underground and digested alive. Poison Ivy has started her work, it seems. She is almost done with her experiment while Floronic Man is waiting impatient in the middle of the swamp. Harley guides Batman and Nightwing through the swamp, and suddenly she pushes both of them onto the water, where they are entangled by vines which try to kill them. Harley presents her victims to the incoming Ivy and Floronic Man and asks Ivy to stop with her wild plans of worldwide vegetation. Ivy doesn't agree with Harley and turns her down, and in response, Harley blasts the tree with deadly vines and free Batman and Nightwing. She is just wild and crazy. The battle begins between the two groups, and initially, no one gets the upper hand. Harley takes on Ivy, and the Floronic Man is met with the force of Dark Knight and Nightwing. Harley and Ivy just deliver blows at each other, and for a long time, no one emerges above the other. Floronic Man has to deal with all the high-tech weaponry thrown at him by Batman and Nightwing, and he even gets electrocuted at one point. The National Guard soldiers fire at the Floronic Man, and even the bullets can't hold him back. The guards are taken under by mutated forest creatures and plants and devoured alive to their utmost horror. But nevertheless, the Floronic Man somehow gains the upper hand and beats the two after a hard-fought battle. Same thing happens with Ivy and Harley, as Poison Ivy gets Harley on the ground and Wild Vines gets her tangled. Ivy gets ready to initiate the experiment, and Harley tries her level best to convince her otherwise. Harley Quinn goes to one last nuclear option as she takes off her makeup, and with eyes full of tears, Harley Quinn starts crying. Poison Ivy cannot stand her lover crying on the floor, and she gives up her plan and hugs her girlfriend tight. Just then, Batman and Nightwing comes flying and lands on the ground after being hurled over by the Floronic Man. He is astonished to see Ivy with Harley as she had betrayed their plans. Jason, the Floronic Man, gets really mad and attacks Ivy with his control of plants. Ivy defends against the giant wildvine, and inch by inch she fights back. She finally takes it down, but Jason punches her, and Harley making both of them dead flat on the ground. Jason gets his hands on the bionic solution, and he is just about to release it when the ground shakes and everything comes to a standstill. Through the shining lake water emerges the grand being of all, the Swamp Thing. Everyone is dumbstruck at the sight of this magnificent creature. Even Floronic Man is trying to apologize. Harley and Nightwing are excited to see Swamp Thing ruling over Jason. He speaks of all the injustice and finally decides it's not his place to force action on someone and leaves everyone. Quite disappointed as we all wanted some sort of ass-kicking right, Jason laughs as he can work out his plans, but Harley has an idea. She suggests burning the Leaf Man, and even Batman and Nightwing are on board with it for the very first time. Good work, team! After a long time, a man is explaining his troubled day-to-day activity to a psychiatrist as his life has turned upside down after his wife left him. It appears to be Harley Quinn is the psychiatrist, and she is hosting a game show named Ask Dr. Quinn on mainstream media. She urges the participant to go through various obstacles, and just like in a game show, for priced psychiatric sessions. Eventually, the man fails at all his attempts, but you can't expect Harley to be normal, right? Thank you for watching Second Look. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more awesome videos. Have a nice day.